big controversy in the educational world right now. And it started maybe in my generation when I was a young man in the 60s and early 70s. That was the hippie era. We were rebellious and we wanted freedom, 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 freedom. Now, the controversy now is that educators have picked up on that and they have allowed more freedom in the classroom. However, what they forgot was to teach teachers how to handle that freedom and how to teach with that new freedom in the classroom. And teachers still don't know how to handle it. So when I went to school, my Bible was Summerhill by A.S. Neal. It's about a school that took, in England, that took kids referred by the courts, recently released from prison, troubled kids referred by the schools. These were hard kids to handle. It was A.S. Neal's idea, well, let's just let the kids go and do what they want, come to school if they want. So the teachers had to try to get them to come to school by all kinds of modes. As I was telling Marianne, was it this morning, one of the teachers, a female teacher, had to get up on the table with no clothes on to keep the attention of the kids. Anyway, that was the big deal back in the 60s and 70s, A.S. Neal. Now there's a similar philosophy, Reggio Emilia, which comes from Italy. They were roughly the same time. And again, it was someone who was not, people who were not tremendously versed in education, who got the community together to try to put a school together. So they didn't follow formal educational techniques. And basically they had a lot of freedom in the classroom. They didn't have the kind of formal education that I grew up with in my generation. But ironically, those two philosophies of education have taken off. And the pendulum is way out here, but I think it's starting to swing back because we're realizing that freedom is much more complex than we thought back in the 60s and 70s. Anyway, I'm going to tell you how the pendulum is going, give you a heads up on where it's going. And this is where Southeast Asia Center is, which I think is ahead of the pendulum. We are on the vanguard. So what I'm going to tell you is that we run a more teacher-oriented classroom in which the teacher has something to say. You guys, every one of you is way, 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 way smarter than your students. If you waste that wisdom and intelligence, you are robbing your students of something. So, you don't just wait for the kids to do what they're going to do, or you don't just let them do whatever they want to do, bully other kids. I'm not going to open my mouth. Those are kids. They have their rights. They're independent. I don't want to touch them. I don't want to bother them. You are robbing your kids of something. Talk more. You are so smart. If you want to keep your smart in here and you don't want to share it with the kids, you're doing a disservice to the kids. So, especially with the younger kids, you need to be talking to them a lot. That's how they learn. But not just talking. Talking alone is not enough, but what kind of talking? You push the envelope. You go one step beyond where you think they are. You get them to think. Yes, you want to increase their vocabulary and their grammar, but that's not enough. You want to ask questions. You want to make them think about why or how that works. You want them to understand the systems and cycles. You want to help them understand what the consequences are of what they're doing or saying. It takes a lot of wisdom and intelligence for you to be able to do that. But you do that in every age level, all the way from infants through age 12. Now, when you do a lesson plan, you need to write in the lesson plan what your part is in there. What is your role? This is what I want to teach, but what is your part in it? Is it just, okay, I'm going to stand there as security guard, and I've seen teachers like this. Okay, they walk around like this. That's their job. I'm a teacher. Okay, I'm a big shot. I don't have to do anything. That's not teaching. That's not sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. That's not guiding your children. In Reggio Emilia, you're supposed to wait for the child to give you a clue as to what they want to learn. They don't know what there is out there. They don't know what the world is like. You do. So you can teach the kids things that they've never heard of. Now, they've all heard about sports heroes, or they've heard about dinosaurs. For many years, they've learned about snowflakes. But what else is there in the world that's important? You smart teachers need to be opening doors. Open the world. Allow the kids to see beyond right here, but way out there. I'm not talking about outer space necessarily, but other cultures, for instance. Other people. They need to go beyond themselves and what they know. Learn more about themselves and their own ethnicity, their own race, their own language, their own food. Okay, now how are you going to do that as a teacher? You need to write that in your lesson plan. How do you get involved? I don't want anybody in the park sitting down watching the kids. That is not your job. Bring an activity to the park. Open up something new that they have not learned before.